And I responded, celebration before crucifixion. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to acknowledge Master of Ceremonies Andrew Cannon, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Minister of Defense, and Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Madam Minister of Finance, MP Favour Williams, MP Julian Robinson, councillors of KSAMC, board members of the NWC, management of the NWC, permanent secretary and senior leadership of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, contractor Bacchus Engineering, and of course residents of Eastern St. Andrew and Southeast St. Andrew who have journeyed to join us. We welcome you this afternoon to this very important commissioning. I took a glance, Prime Minister, at the list. We have now ticked 3 out of the list of 24. And time is getting more difficult to find, Prime Minister. So we'll start with an appeal, because I know your office is listening, that we do need some dates and some time in your calendar, Prime Minister, because I know you're in Castleton on Friday. And we are at the Rio Cobre project on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we move to breaking ground on the largest infrastructure in water project that we will be undertaking, the Northwestern project. And then the following week, Prime Minister, you are on Washington Boulevard and you are also doing ferry to Rock Pond. And we have many more that will have to start ahead of commissionings, Prime Minister, because as Minister Williams mentioned, the $10.1 billion infusion that has come from the Ministry of Finance through the Consolidated Fund is being deployed across 14 major capital works, Minister Williams. But that is in addition to the fact that last year the NWC, through its own revenue, would have spent $3 billion, and several projects are nearing completion from their list as well as their own revenue work that will continue throughout the course of this year. But this is a good afternoon. It is a good afternoon, and as PM would have said yesterday, it's important to mark occasion and to mark time. And it's important to look at this in the context of where water supply is in Kingston and St. Andrew. 9 years ago, approximately 55 million gallons of potable water was required for Kingston and St. Andrew use daily. Today, despite looking at the hillside, you will see that every single one of the homes within eye view here were not there 9 years ago, except one, I think, to my deep left. None of those homes were there. And today you require 38 million gallons of water per day because the NWC, through its non-revenue water project, has cut leakage in Kingston and St. Andrew in half in just 9 years. So we have corrected the disinvestment that took place for decades in our water distribution network in Kingston and St. Andrew in particular. And in doing so, despite unlocking significant development both for commercial projects and indeed significant expansion of the housing stock in Kingston and St. Andrew, you need less water today than you did 9 years ago. And that is a major achievement for the management of the National Water Commission. It's a major achievement for the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. It's a major achievement for your government, but it's a major accomplishment that citizens should understand that today, not to come, not may come, but today you are more water resilient in Kingston and St. Andrew than you were 9 years ago. Now, that doesn't mean we're finished. Today we commence or formally acknowledge the commencement of further investment in potable water of approximately $592 million and approximately $620 million of sewering exercise within this particular block. But what does that mean? It means improved service delivery to those who live here today. It means improved service delivery for those who will come into these communities in the near future and medium term. It means protection of our environment, of your future. There are wells and water sources within this general area that we're not currently able to access because of high nitrate content. And that is because of the environmental scourge that I call the backyard pit. When we create the capacity to manage our sewage, it is an environmental investment. Yes, it unlocks significant investment opportunities for developers, both residential and commercial, but it is an investment in our environmental sustainability, and one that we're particularly proud of. But Prime Minister, this will further lower non-revenue water in this, certainly within this area of Kingston and St. Andrew. But in 2 weeks, I believe it's on the 29th or the 30th, we will also be mobilizing and commencing construction on the ferry to Rock Pond line. So for all of those who are listening on air, we want to assure those of our citizens who live in areas like Cooper's Hill, in areas like Swain Spring and Red Hills, that the investment is not limited to Kingston 6. We're coming to Kingston 19 next, and that will affect 3 constituencies in Western St. Andrew, Northwest St. Andrew, and West Rural St. Andrew, simultaneously, Prime Minister, with a $1.4 billion investment. Again, thank you, Minister Williams, but if you can top us up, we do have about 8 more ready if you can top us up, but we'll talk about that closer to supplementary time. But we are investing in the water resilience of Jamaica. We're investing in continued reduction in NRW. Kingston and St. Andrew is on track to be water resilient within 3 years. Don't all clap at once, but I have framed this timeline because of a particular investment which has now entered the construction phase at Content St. Catherine. That is the development of the Rio Cobre water treatment plant, which will pump 15.5 million gallons of water every single day into Portmore, into Spanish Town, into Kingston and St. Andrew. Now, what does that mean? It sounds like a lot of water. In 2022 February, Jamaica experienced its worst drought on record. And in that period, those areas mentioned were short 12 million gallons daily to be able to satisfy the daily needs Portmore, Kingston, and St. Andrew. So when you commence construction on a plant that will add 15 million gallons daily to a system where you're reducing leaks steadily and in a structured and consistent manner, you see that you're on the road to water resilience for Portmore, for Kingston and St. Andrew, and indeed for Spanish Town. But Minister of Finance, we do need a little more help just to close the gap. We're at about 38% non-revenue water in Kingston and St. Andrew and about 40% in Portmore. With so a little more capital works, we will be able to bring that within the standards of several boroughs in New York of about 20%, which that in line with increased water production capacity makes this area for just over 1 million Jamaican people water resilient. A major achievement of this administration, Prime Minister, and we thank you for your commitment to that cause. I was asked a question earlier on the interview that was done about, this is an investment in Kingston and St. Andrew, and you get the constant calls, well, what about rural Jamaica? What about low-income areas? I assure those listening, and for those who've been paying attention, they can attest to the fact that we have water capital projects in every single parish. In every single parish taking place concurrently. Just as I mentioned, the Prime Minister will break ground on a water distribution line in Castleton Gardens in St. Mary on Friday. Next week we journey to the northwestern end of the island where we'll be breaking ground from Falmouth to Negril. These investments change the lives of all Jamaicans. They offer genuine opportunity for us to achieve Vision 2030 and indeed honor our obligations under the UN SDGs, but it also unlocks significant economic expansion. This is one of many to come, and this is the benefit of the dividend of good management of the NWC, of sound economic management, and it's a project we're proud of. I want to thank the contractor for the way in which he has conducted the project thus far. We look forward to that being maintained throughout the duration of this project, and we look forward to significantly more work because, Prime Minister, we have committed that Jamaicans will have water by 2030. That is in our Vision 2030 document. All Jamaicans will have potable water by 2030. We are moving at an unprecedented rate. It is not comparable with any period prior to your leadership, but we still have a way to go. So we'll be redoubling our efforts to ensure that we're able to develop projects, get them through the public infrastructure appraisal process faster than other areas of government, Minister, because we do want more of your capital budget than others do, because we have a 2030 target and we intend to achieve it. And that target is potable water in every household by 2030. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.